Oh my goodness. Okay, it's Friday already. Can you guys believe it? It is Friday already. And I don't know where the time has gone. It's Friday and it's February. Yeah, okay, exactly. So we all feel the way that I feel. But because it is a new month, that means we have another episode of Small Biz Bites ready and waiting for you. You know, I should have been a singer. I should have been, but the good Lord didn't really give me those talents. I'm just gonna put it out there. But let me go ahead. Let's play some theme music, and then we'll get into it. Okay, so as I was saying, good afternoon. This is Gwendolyn G. R. Houston Jack, and this is Small Biz Bites. Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are streaming live to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And shout out to all the people over here on YouTube having these beautiful comments. Of course, we have to recognize that my mother is here. My mother is here. Mother is representing for the Houston household. I do appreciate it. So hello to you, Mother. We also have Kelly. Good afternoon. Woo, get all the words. I get all the syllables. Good afternoon, Kelly. How are you? Good afternoon. We have Bottom Line Sports Talk here. Hey, if I can put out, because, you know, I love putting out public service announcements, hitch on over to the Bottom Line Sports Talk YouTube channel. They have an amazing podcast, sports podcast on YouTube. Comes on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central. Really good. It's a great show. I highly suggest you guys like, share, subscribe, and tune into that. We're moving, of course, out of football season into basketball season, but there's always sports all over, all the time. So make sure you check them out. Shout out also to Gary Jackson, one of the podcast hosts of Bottom Line Sports Talk. So make sure, again, you look up on all the things. Shout out to you, Gary. Hey, Serena is here also. Hello, Serena. Thank you for tuning in. And we do have some other announcements here before we get into our conversation with our guests. We do have some more announcements. There's so much going on. So much going. What's that? Isn't that a rap line? Let me stay focused, because sometimes I go off on these tangents. I go off on a variety of tangents. God bless me and my rabbit hole here. But coming up next week, we have Aisla, and she's going to talk about building your business in a way that does not exploit you, others, and the planet. There is a way to conduct business that is beneficial for all parties. There's a way to do that. And I'm excited for her to bring her expertise to us next week. So be sure you tune in for that. And of course, if you are subscribed to the channel, you know, you can hit the notification, like be notified when it goes live and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, I know, it helps it. Okay, so I know you guys are ready to get into this. Let me not fool around. Let me go ahead and bring in my partner here. Hello, ma'am. Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, everybody, I want to welcome to the Small Biz Bites stage. Woo! You know, for a child who has a speech impediment, clearly I love alliteration, go figure. But we have Amparo here with us today. We're going to get into a lot of great information with Amparo today, and I'm excited. But first of all, happy Friday to you, ma'am. Happy Friday. How's it been for you?
Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, I got up this morning And I shouldn't say I decided, like the clock is ticking, that sort of invisible edit clock was ticking. So the baby girl had a baby shower 2 weeks ago. And I have been doing a little bit, and I thought, ''Gwendolyn, you need to get this done. It needs to get done today." So we got up early, 6:30, and just started I was like, I gotta get this done. And when it's a baby shower, we take a lot of extra photos.
Yes.
A lot of extra photos. A lot. It's a baby
Don't
shower.
get me going. I can tell you all about what I was doing last night and how many photos I took last night. Don't even get me started.
It doesn't take long for us to get a lot of shots. People think, well, I think I need like a 2-hour photo session. No, you don't. No, you don't. We don't need that much time to get the shot that we need. We really don't need that much time. We can get a lot done in a little bit of time. But before we go there, let me give some more shout outs here to everybody. Mother is saying hello to everyone. Gary is, thank you all for the love and the shout outs. Yes, we support each other here. Serena is saying hello to Amparo.
Hey, Serena.
Is hello.
It's my accountability partner.
Oh, that's your well, look at about. See,
she's one of them. You're one of them. She's one of them. Ron is one of them. I have so many different circles.
Okay, so when we talk about community and human connection and working, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I've said it on LinkedIn. I'm saying here too. I have nothing against working in an office. I really don't. But sticking humans in an office does not create camaraderie. Okay? It does not. So please don't tell us that we have to be in an office to create connections and get work done. We are in 4 different spaces, right? And we're all working together and getting things done.
That's right.
So I just really, if you want people to work in an office, you should be honest about why you want them to work in an office. Now, if your job requires that, that's different, right? Because we all have different jobs. But here we are, solopreneurs, creative, and we are getting together and we are getting things done. So the idea that I got to be in an office to get the work done, that part, we are going to call bull malarkey on that one. Bull malarkey. There you go. Because mother is watching the show today. Gary says, yay for the accountability partners. Serena also says that me, Stacey, and Amparo. Okay. Wow. See, you gotta have these variety of groups. And you can have, as we said before, multiple partners because we all have our expertise and it helps us get all the brains and the geniuses in one place and we can support each other. We really can. That is definitely doable. Definitely doable. And yes, I am Gary's accountability partner. So we'll go ahead and recognize that. Now, I think did I lose Amparo? I lost her. Oh no. She'll be back. She'll be back, everybody. She'll be back. We'll just wait until then. Until then, let me start with something because, Amparo is a photographer, as we were talking about being in editing purgatory. And it's not really a purgatory, but sometimes you can have a lot that needs to get done. But I do want to ask this question for those who are watching and for those who are photographers or hobbyists, right? I would love to know, what team are you guys? Right? This is going to be our question for Amparo as well. What team are you? Are we Sony, we Fuji, we Canon, Nikon, Leica, Pentax? What are you guys rocking with for those of you who are photographers or if you are a hobbyist? Now, I myself, I'm team Canon and I'm also team film. I didn't put that in there, but I'm team film. So I got a little Fuji Instax in there, a little other stuff. Polaroid is bringing their Polaroid back. So, hey, would love to know where you guys are rocking in terms of in terms of camera equipment. And not that it's about the gear, but sometimes we do like to, partner with those who are very similar to ourselves. That's just one of the things that we do. But Gwendolyn is definitely team. What is this? Oh, Gary says that he is. Oh, see, Gary. There we go, man. There we go. I mean, hey, everybody has their something. Everybody has their something, but yes, I'm all we're Team Canon here. Oh, and coming in here is Black 8th Element. Hello to you, sir. Good afternoon. Good Friday to you. Thank you for sliding by. We always love having your presence here. And if I may do another commercial, the tunes you were listening to today are provided by Black 8th Element, and he is good at what he does, and it's how I keep myself together. So there you go. Got to have a little ambiance, you know what I'm saying? Got to have a little ambiance. So we're going to let Amparo get back in the studio with us. But until then, like I said before, would love to know what team you guys are rocking with. That is, if you enjoy your camera. And maybe your camera is your phone, because that's a camera too. You know, these are all available tools that we can use. There's no judgment there. But I'm just going to say that Gary and myself are Team Canon. It's probably why he's my accountability partner. One of three accountability partners. I think I'm up to 3. Could have 4. I have a community. You know what? We have to shout out people, and it's not so much that we have to. I enjoy it, and I've said this before. I will say it again. You know, there's a lot of talent out here in the world. And there is more than enough pot in the world for us to share it. So I don't mind sharing my stage, my platform with other small business owners, other creatives, other people who have aspirations, other big dreamers, other disruptors. I don't mind that, because there's no competition on this side. If anything, I believe in that each one teach one, and we can all help each other grow, right? Like, there's more than enough room out here for all of us. So yes, it is true that I like to use a couple of tunes from Black 8th Element to make sure that I have something that speaks to my personality when it comes to the music. It's one of the things that I like to do. So what can I tell you? We're going to tell you that. And he has there's more than enough. Of course he does. He also does Girl Listen, and his talents will also be on the Indie Suit Media TV show, Ladies Listen Up, which will be streaming soon. So, like I said, we're a talented bunch in the Houston household. And okay, yes, he's my brother, but still, we're a talented bunch in the Houston household. I'm not gonna even front on that. Like, that's what that is. So, okay, so we're getting ourselves together in terms of this technology issues here and there, but you know, what can I tell you? Is that not how the world works? Is it not how it works? And since we're still talking about photography, I will get into it, as I was saying before with Amparo, that on average, people believe that they need a 2-hour photo session. And I will tell you that in 20 minutes, I'm going to say your average photographer can capture between 100 and 125 photos. I should say images. We're not going to show you all of those, because not every single one is going to be amazing. And depending on the photographer, they may or may not want to show you all of the things that don't look great. Could be a cock of the head, maybe the eyes are closed, something like that. But we can capture, on average, like 100 to 125 photos in 20 minutes. So then I have to say to myself, if we're doing a 2-hour deal, that clearly is a bigger project. I'm assuming something that's extremely special, maybe an event. If it's just for one person, there's got to be some other stuff involved and what have you. But an actual sitting in front of the camera and having your photo taken or having a portrait made, yeah, we don't need 2 hours for that. Not at all. Now, the day may take, if you're doing clothing and makeup and hair all at the studio, that's possible. But time in front of the camera, no. No. Oh, she's almost there. I'm giving her time. She's almost there. Yeah, here's the deal about technology. Tech was going to do its tech thing. You know what I'm saying? That's about all there is to it. Tech will do its tech thing. That's all there is. Let's see here. Hey, how are you, ma'am?
Tech is teching.
Tech is teching. It's okay. It's okay. Now, I will say this. I already know the answer, but I always like to throw stuff out there just because we can. The question we had on the table was, what team are you? Sony, Fuji, Canon, Nikon, other?
I am a 𝐒𝐭𝐿𝐵𝐼an, hardcore 𝐒𝐭𝐿𝐵Ian, have been from day one. But I will tell you, I have been looking at the Sony Alpha. I'm cheating.
Really?
I feel like I'm cheating. Yes, I know. I'm cheating on Nikon. But like,
it's not. Okay, so here's my approach to photography. She's like, wait a minute. Here's my approach to photography. We know that depending on the camera you use and the glass you use, you get different looks. Same thing with film.
Yeah.
Because all film is not equal.
Right.
So I believe it's great to have different cameras in your arsenal. I would love to get a Leica. It is on my wish list.
Well, now, okay. Let's just be real, right? Like a Leica is a very special kind of camera, right? Like
it is.
It does things that I don't think normal cameras do. Like that's why it's been known as the newsman's workhorse, right? The press workhorse for years, because in light it can do things that like nobody's business can do, right?
Man.
So Leicas are great for certain things, and then like, you know, I don't know. I've been a Nikonian. I can't even remember what was the name of it. I want to say it was a Nikon FE. Was my first camera, my first film camera, and I've just been in love with Nikon ever since. Just everything that they do, I just find their cameras to be fantastic. I do know that there really is no difference. So let me just say that all cameras take pictures, and it has nothing to do with the body that you use. It really is the photographer themselves that makes the image come out. But man, I
sometimes the way that they capture the color and things of that nature, some of that does come through. But yeah, I did meet a gentleman 2 years ago. Was it last year? Last year. Okay, it was just last year. Oh my goodness, God bless. And he brought his Leica. Oh my God. You talk about the sweetest thing I've ever seen. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, what? Yeah. It is quite specialized.
It's very special.
Quite specialized.
It does things like with shadows and lights that like I've never seen another camera be able to do. Like it just, it's special. It does things that, you know, there's Leicas and then there's like other cameras. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
there are other cameras.
It's like there's like, you know, of course there's 35mm format, and then there's the medium format, and then there's, you know, like it's like one of those kind of differences. Leicas have their own lane, you know, like they're just special like that.
It was super, super sharp. I said, I can't believe that we can even do these things. But I will say this. I want to say it was Daryl Todd, if I'm not mistaken, who said, I want red boxes, not red bottoms. I was like, ditto. I want that too. So tell me this.
I like that. Red is my favorite color, so I'm digging it.
So tell us, who are you?
Well, that's a loaded question.
Of course it is.
I'm a Bronx girl, first and foremost. I rep my hometown very hard. I am a New York City native, born and raised. I am a woman who really has always been an artist at heart. And so it never has mattered whether or not it was playing the violin, which I think I was sharing on Ron's show the other day, that I used to play the violin as a kid. And I was always a kid that was always interested in graphic arts, and I used to write plays, and you know, I just always have loved the arts. And I went to acting school. A lot of people don't know that about me. I actually went to high school, acting high school with Mos Def. You know Mos Def, and we were actually in the same acting high school. We went to Julia Richmond together. We were in the Talent Unlimited program, and we were both in an off Broadway play called Dark Street Trilogy. And it was my first acting experience ever. I got to pay, I think I was paid $45 a week to do 3 shows a week. And this is like in high school. So that was big money. Like that went to door knockers. That was door knocker money, you know?
Door knocker.
I don't even have my earrings on today, but like that was door knocker money. You know, that was very important money for me back then. You know, I could buy my rope chains and my Nefertiti's and my 2 finger rings. I am that I think also speaks to the fact that I am a hip hop head. I love hip hop music. Definitely love that genre of music. Love dance hall. I think that also speaks to my culture and the fact that I am of Caribbean descent. My mother is from Jamaica and my father is from Panama, and I like to call it I'm a Panamanican. I like to call it.
And who doesn't love dance hall?
Who does not? Anyone who doesn't love dance hall, they're not in my tribe. Like, you cannot be my people.
Right? We talked once, and I remember saying how I remember when I first discovered Mad Lion, and I was attending NYU.
I'm like, Mad Lion.
Oh my God! Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead, girl.
I mean, if you think about the people who were popular then in the 90s, and I'm coming out of Houston, so Shaba played a lot, Beanie Man played a lot, there was Boujou, there was tons of people, and so then when I got to New York, it was like, look at all of this wonderfulness. Yeah, it was great.
Look at all of that wonderfulness. And I will say, so let the professional part of me come back, because he might actually see this one day. Somehow, some way. But no, I photographed him first after the verses. There was a KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane verses that was at Madison Square Garden, and I was there shooting for 𝐿.com, and I got to meet him backstage. Very, very nice guy. Like, extremely nice guy. And of course, we have the fact that we're both of Jamaican descent, and I was like, yes, we're bonding. But he was very, very nice, very respectful. I also saw him this year. I got to take some really nice photos of him this year at the 5x5 concert in the Bronx. And again, very nice, very respectful, just a really, really great person all around, like very approachable, not what you would think, like, oh, he's Mad Lion, like too many suckers, you would think he's like, right. You would think he'd be all stushy and stuff, but no, like, he's very down to earth, very cool, really cool people. Like, you get to kind of do that when you're doing event photography like that. You get to meet really cool people like that. He happens to be
definitely. Oh my goodness. Well, I'll admit I still play all of my 90s music
every
hip-hop.
day, all day.
I think they 90s hip hop and R&B, but it's more hip hop and dance hall than anything.
Me too.
Right? Because it still goes hard. Like, let's not even lie about that.
Let me just share with you that I was just listening to Capleton's tour. Come from Jamaica, go to foreign one tour. I was just listening to that song, like, not even an hour.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Like, it stays in heavy rotation. Like,
Man,
last night I was actually. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
When people talk about like getting a party started, I know how I used to get my party. Since I used to still get my party started. Like when my husband gets in the car, he's kind of like, "What are you playing at?" You already know what's playing. You ain't even gotta ask. You don't even have to ask.
Now let me find out. Let me ask. What's the song that gets Gwen? What gets G bumping? Yes, light turns up with a non-style Serena. Yes.
Oh man. Oh shoot! I got so many. Okay, so if I really want to get started,
what you playing? What you bumping?
Probably go with first. I'm gonna probably go with anything from Rihanna. And Rude Boy comes to mind first. I mean, there is. Ooh. You Better Have My Money. That actually blasts in the car all the time.
I am feeling that. Yes. Loving that.
I'm going to go with that. I like how Serena says, light her up for dance hall.
Yes. I want to say that Find a Replay with Rihanna. Find a Replay with Rihanna usually gets me going. And then she has this other song called Jump. Do you know that song by Rihanna that's called Jump?
No.
Oh, let me tell you something. When I am ready, when I'm about to start editing and getting in my bust down mode, I'm getting on my ratchet turn up TV time, my editing ratchetness. But I put on my Rihanna like that. Rihanna, I love Rihanna. I love Beyonce. And I like to listen to music a lot. Like, you would think that, It's distracting, but for me, I like to listen to music a lot while I'm editing. It helps kind of make me get through the editing. So usually starts off with some dance hall, but somewhere in there's some Jay-Z playing, has to be. A lot of classic era hip hop. I listen to a lot of classic era hip hop. A lot of nice and smooth, and a lot of Dwick playing, and
we talked about nice and smooth. I mean, clearly, and
they're very cool people too. They're also very, very nice people. I've met them several times. Like, very, very nice people. Very cool.
I edit at a standing desk because I have to move. So like you, I play music when I am editing. So if I'm in let me just like rock it out, I'll do Prince, because Prince is always on there. Like, I don't even put him in there. He's always there. Like, he's always there. So that's not even a question.
My favorite.
And then we'll do, if we're not doing a Prince thing, then we're doing my dance hall Afrobeat, because it all sounds like we're all from the same place. You know what I'm saying?
You already know.
We'll play some Afrobeat, get some stuff going. So yeah.
You know that song Protect? Have you heard Protect?
Yeah.
I tell you, that song comes on and immediately it's like the shoulders just start going. I'm trying to edit and somehow I just my hand just keeps jumping. It's like, what?
There was a guy on YouTube who did this. No, he wasn't on YouTube. He was on Twitter back in the day. He did this beautiful Afrobeats mix that it was a workout mix. And I literally ran to this mix for like years before I decided to stop running. But introduced me to like just about every Afrobeat person I could think of, like Yemi Alade, Wizkid, David, before everybody, and it was just, of course, I still play it now because, hey, like I said, we all from the same place, so we're not even.
I'm just starting to learn, so you'll have to share your playlist with me because I'm just getting tuned into the Afro beats thing. Like, I know a few songs. I know Amparo. I know, I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. I know a few of them, but I don't know all the ones that I'm sure I need to know. So you're gonna have to share a playlist with me.
Hey, shout out to Sean Anthony who made it, and Serena. Laughter, man. We could. Okay, so let me not get off topic here because I know that this is about photography today and your business. I want to talk about how your message of is not too late to pursue your passion. But tell us about your business, Photography by Amparo.
Yes. So I consider my business, Photography by Amparo, I consider my business to be a boutique photography business. And what does boutique? I'm a little bougie and stushy. That's the Jamaican side of me. But I consider myself to be a boutique photographer. And I actually got this idea. It's based on Sarah Petty, who is a wonderful person to follow and learn and certainly get a lot of information from her podcasts. But the way and the manner in which she develops her photography business is by making sure that her clients have tangible products in their hands, as opposed to just being a person who only does digital things and then that's it. And so I do a lot of portraiture work and I do a lot of event work. And so in those spaces, I tend to like to be able to produce canvases and books and any other kind of item, cubes, just about anything that somebody would tangibly want to have in their home. That's the kind of photography that I do. So if someone says, I want to have a family portrait done, that's great if they wanted to just live in their phone, and they're going to certainly pay for a photo session. But don't you also want that to be on your desk? Don't you want that also to be on your wall when people come in? So boutique for that reason. And but I specialize in portraits and events and not so much weddings. I'm a little bit more selective these days with the kind of weddings that I do. I do very few weddings every year. A small few, a handful that I do each year, but I really primarily focus my business on photography and on portraits and on events. But I am making the big jump this year to really kind of expand in my foray into landscape photography. So, which has always been my first love, ironically. I had a coach once, my and this is part of the Who I Am speech, so it all kind of comes full circle. But
Okay.
when I first decided to become a full-time photographer, photography had always been my side hustle, right? And so when I decided 2.5 years ago to become a full-time photographer, I just needed to really make sure that I had certain things set up that were really going to work and benefit me. So I needed to make sure that I was able to have a photography lane that was going to be able to be profitable. So I couldn't necessarily see how doing landscapes were going to work at the time, even though it's the time that centers me the most. Whenever I think about doing photography, and when I first really got interested in doing photography, it was doing landscapes. But when I made this decision 2.5 years ago, and of course, throughout the years, I had always been doing portrait work and always been doing events and stuff. And so when I made the decision to be a full-time photographer, I said, well, you have to do portraits. Like, you work with people, you're an HR person, you know how to work with people, do that. Yeah. That'll help you. You can transfer that skill right on over. And so I did. But now I'm actually going to use some of my HR skills. I'm going to utilize the training abilities that I have and take that out to do landscapes out in Utah this year. So in May, I'll be hosting a workshop out in Utah to make sure that I teach our learning community, our hobbyists and serious amateurists, and also pro photographers who might just want to sharpen some of their skills, taking people out to some of the most beautiful landscapes out in Utah to really do some wonderful landscape photography. So sometimes it's sunrise, sometimes it's sunset, sometimes astrophotography, you know. And Utah, for those of you who have never been, I mean, it is probably one of the most diverse, but also the most beautiful landscapes that you can find, you know, in the United States. I don't know about the rest of the world. I think there's so much to see out there, but definitely in the United States, there are very few places that come close.
There is a lot. There is definitely a lot to see out there. This is why my husband and I, we really do enjoy doing road trips, because you get to see all of these pockets of the U.S. that if you're in a plane, you don't get to see them as often, right? These little pockets here and there. But when you head out west, like you mentioned the other day about the Valley of Fire, one of my top spots. I could be in the desert all day photographing somebody. So much so that back in 2019, Lord bless me, did a road trip with the parents for their anniversary photo session.
To the Valley of Fire?
Valley of Fire. We drove to Overton, Nevada. We rented their clothes, the tux, mother's dress. I got her jewelry and stuff, and met us at the hotel. The very next day, we went out to the Valley of Fire, did their portrait session. I love the desert. I could be in the desert photographing every single day, literally. Love.
You are my tribe. You were speaking my language. I so love the desert, and it's just because the possibilities are endless. Right. Like there's just all you need is to be creative, and that's it. You know.
Yes. I mean, like these backdrops, you can't make this stuff up. Like you just can't. And then we took my niece out to White Sands National Park to do her
in New Mexico.
On my bucket list.
On my bucket list.
I want to go back.
So we're gonna go back together, all right, G? Like, how about right here? I'm gonna make. Well, I will definitely put this out there. You're my accountability partner anyway. But you and I are gonna go to New Mexico because I so want to go. I've never been. And of course, in the steps of Ansel Adams, like if you're a serious landscape photographer who doesn't go to Santa Fe and, you know, walk in his footsteps and do some of the landscape photography that he did out in that wonderful and enchanting state as it's called. But, oh man, the things that are out there. I have so many places in New Mexico that are on my bucket list.
Right. A list, like a serious list of places that I would like to just host my own session, take somebody, you know, just to have that experience, because the possibilities. Death Valley is on my list, but you got to be careful because it is called Death Valley for a reason. Like real.
Well, I've done Death Valley, and I wouldn't mind going again. But what I will share with you, to your point, you'd never want to go to Death Valley in the summer, where a lot of people would think that, oh, I'm on vacation, so I go on vacations in the summer. You only want to go to Death Valley in like January to like April. By the time you get to like April and beyond, it gets so hot there. And even when I was there in January, so it can get very cold in the desert, as I'm sure you know, since you love deserts. The deserts can get very, very cold. And so at night in January, it was, I want to say like 35 degrees, 40 degrees at night. And the daytime temperature was like 65 in January. Like, so just to give you, but so, and that's January. So imagine now as you kind of creep up into spring, if that's what the temperatures are like in January, by the time you get to May, June, it's like 100 degrees, 120 degrees out there in the middle of the day. It's like not safe even to be out there in the summer. It's like, no, but it is. But I will tell you from a landscape perspective, again, just like Utah, just like New Mexico, I'm sure is, the landscapes out there, cool, the things that you see out there. And people would think, oh, it's Death Valley. What am I going to see? Oh my gosh. They have this place. I don't know if you've heard about it. The place where the stones move. Have you heard about this place where they have, I think it's called the Whispering Rocks or something like that, but they have stones that actually do move in the desert. You can't necessarily see them moving, but if you did like a time lapse, you would actually see them sliding because there's like a little thin bit of water that's kind of like in between the rock. And I have to remember what the name of the place is called, and I'll send it to you. But if you go out there, they actually even tell you, you go out there at your own risk, because if it just rained, like, we're not coming to get you, like, you will be stalled out there, like, so on you if you go there. And but what you can see, it is just, you don't even think that places like this exist. It is just impossible.
I agree with that. Because I know the white sands, I mean, it's beautiful, it's white, but it's still desert and it's hot. My phone was like, I'm shutting down, sis. I'm shutting down. Bye. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. It gets hot. Like, it looks like it's, you know, cool and all, and it is, but you still have to be careful that you are in the desert, like, depending on the time of day. Hey, we got more comments coming in. We've got Serena like, y'all are taking me back to the basement parties I used to go to in Brooklyn, Queens. Girl.
Hey, let's Serena.
You didn't really get started. Like, you know, you didn't go out until like 12 o'clock at night. Well, in the morning.
At least.
Like, we were still getting ready like 9, 10, 11. And then you go at 12. You stay till like about 4 o'clock. You get something to eat. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to really bring it back. So my best friend and I were talking a couple of weeks back about when we used to go to Bentley's. If you're a New York City girl, you might remember the club Bentley's. And I remember we didn't start getting ready to go until about 11 o'clock at night. Like, and I think about that now at my age, and I'm like, I'm trying to be home by 11. Like, I'm tired. My feet done gave out.
Yeah, 12 or 1 o'clock when you were like, okay, so now I'm leaving.
Like, and we used to leave, my best friend and I, and here was the joke. Like, we used to, the joke was literally that she used to have to put her daughter to bed before we would go out to the park. That's how late we would leave to go. So we would be able to put her to bed, make sure that she was asleep for the night, and then we would go out to the club. And it was like literally like midnight, you know, like, and of course there were people who were there watching her daughter and stuff, but we would go out at like midnight, and that's when the party started. And then we would literally walk back in the house at 6 o'clock in the morning. We would come back in at 6 a.m., take a shower, and then go to work. Like, I don't know how we did this. Like, and it was like every night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, do that, and then Monday, that's what the party night, and then don't let it be a Thursday night party, you know, because that's staying out until. I have
no idea. It's like you had this other kind of energy at that time. I don't know, because we have done that a couple of times. Did the deal, party, went right back to work. It's like, oh my gosh, seriously? Yeah. But
I'll share something else with you too. One other thing too, really quick, I will share that I can't even believe, and it's just a different time. Let me also say that. You know, I think that the generation has changed. I think time has changed. Things aren't as safe as they used to be. But we used to go, I don't know, and Serena certainly chime in if you remember this, but there was almost a time when you would go to a club and the guy, whoever you met at the club, he would drive you home. Like, and just to even think about this from the perspective now, it's like, I just met you. I don't know who you are. I don't know your telephone. I don't know your last name, but you're about to take me to my area where I live. And this is okay. And usually, because I'm with my girlfriends, like, you don't think anything of getting in a strange man's car to drive. you home to an area where he's gonna know where you live. Like anything else, it was just the norm to get into a strange man's, car after a night because we didn't want to take the train back.
Yeah, and the train ran a lot slower at
so
night.
It was like, oh no, we got a car.
Like an hour
Let's go in the car.
Yeah, those times are clearly over. Nobody's doing that.
No one does. Please, anyone who is listening to us right now, please never do that. It was a totally different era, boy. Oh my God, I can't believe we used to do that.
Different era. Hey, shout out to Spencer B from Atlanta. We got Dr. Tachi in the building. Hello, Dr. Tachi. Oh, Sean said, maybe I need to try that. Oh, okay. Well, if you want to come out with us to the desert, we can definitely come out to the desert. Like we are there. And of course, I taught you sending salutations to Serena as well, as she sends them right back her way. And Gary says, "No,
wait, she said Sora. Wait, hold on. She said Sora.
I know.
Wait a minute. What Sora? What members of the Divine Nine? Now, see, I'm wearing. I don't know if you can see this. I'm repping my Divine Nine organization right here because I didn't get a chance to talk about it on Ron's show. So I wanted to make sure that I talked about the finer women of the Dove. And so she said Sora. So I want to know what ladies of the Divine Nine do we have up in here?
We would love to know. And yes, Gary says, times have changed. We are clearly not jumping into the vehicles of others nowadays, except for like Uber and Lyft, and even this, people are like, I don't really know.
And even that is like,
you're kind of like, what is that about?
If you didn't call, like, have you seen these things where people just jump up and come in? Oh, did you call an Uber? And it's like, I didn't ask for you. You're not the plate that I called.
I admit, I have gotten into the wrong car like once. I opened up somebody. I mean, they said it was a gray Camry, and it's a gray Camry. I didn't check the license plate, and I opened the door. The guy was like, I said, "Are you not my Uber driver?" He's the store license. He's like, "No, ma'am." I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And I closed his door. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." So yeah, check those license plate, people. But tell me this. Okay, so let's talk about pursuing your passion. What sparked that fire?
I've always loved pictures. There is something about being able to convey something, to kind of stop moments in time and to know that no one else at that moment in time will ever be able to capture what you saw the way you did at that moment ever again. It was fascinating to me, and to be able to have people feel moved by images, when people see a picture of their grandmother or their parents. Even now, when I look at pictures of my mom that I've taken, my mother transitioned back in 2018, and when I look at pictures of her now, it's like, wow, I remember that day, that moment, that feeling. And to be able to do that for other people and to do it well, I think, which is the key. Anybody can take a picture. I think everyone thinks that they're a photographer now because everyone has a camera phone. But I think to be able to do it well, to be able to convey an image is a skill that we all have as photographers. And I don't believe that we're all in competition with each other. I think that everyone has a style that's unique and that's their own. And customers will find the people who are their tribe and that photograph the way that they like. So that's why I think it's important to just make sure that we all know that, we're not in competition. But what kind of sparked the creativity? What sparked that passion for it? I mean, I think it was just really a love of the art as a photographer, and seeing him with the big camera. That's what we used to call it back in the day. My father had the big camera, and I wanted to get a big camera. And so when I finally got my SLR camera back in, I think it was 1993, I purchased my first SLR, and I really just kind of started honing my craft, and I never lost that love of taking pictures. And so I always wanted to continuously get better. Like, how do I make my picture look like that Hallmark card? How do I make, my photos look like Loretta Houston's photo that she took of Tyra Banks on the beach, the Sports Illustrated cover? Like, how do I make my photos look like that? So I had this quest. I love Loretta Houston, by the way. She's a wonderful photographer. She's very inspiring to me. She's one of my goats, my Mount Rushmore, as I say. And the thing that keeps that spark going is to kind of look at those people who inspire me. So I'm constantly looking for things in different ways and mediums that do inspire me. And it's not always photography. Sometimes it might be through music, right? Like we were just talking about. Sometimes I will listen to Stevie Wonder and I will see something that he is talking about, and it's amazing because this man can't see, right? And to think that he can create a vision in your mind of a picture of something that will inspire you to take a picture of something, it is amazing to me. So I like to kind of get a feel for people, get a feel for a situation or an environment, and kind of really drink that in. And I think as far as landscapes, I think the spark really comes now from really wanting to be centered. I think that a lot of wanting to do landscape photography is certainly a kind of harking back to my love for photography. It was always my first love. It was always the thing that I loved the most when I picked up my first big camera. But I think that it helps me to be still. And when you are doing portrait photography or fashion photography, as I'm about to embark on a New York Fashion Week next week, starting on February 7th, it's very fast paced. It's very, oh my gosh, everything has to be done now. Everybody's crazy, everybody's running, all different types of personalities to kind of deal with. Whereas when you're doing landscapes, it's really about, okay, let's center yourself. What do you see? It's also my time to really talk to my mom. I kind of use that for creativity also. And I turned one of my sorority sisters. I'm waiting to hear from Dr. Tashi and Serena what sorority that is, but
she says they're Deltas.
Deltas?
Aww. Deltas.
Okay. We let the Deltas, we let the Deltas slide. We let the Deltas slide. Deltas are cool. But no, I do think it's important to be inspired by people and to constantly look outside of yourself to be inspired, and outside of photography to get that spark, because you never know where that spark comes from. That was a long-winded answer, but
no, it was actually it was a really good answer. It was a really good answer because I think about how I got inspired. Like my parents got me a 110. I still have that pink Pixie 110 in this office, no less. I still have it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. So we have carried a camera for a very long time. I have the negatives too and the original prints. Don't y'all judge me, because
I keep my negatives. I still have negatives.
I have my negatives. I'm looking at the number and I'm like, yeah, I've carried a camera for a very long time. So I have my junior high life, high school, college.
Me too. Oh my gosh, you're my twin.
Like, it's been a very long time, But I remember I discovered Richard Avedon because of Prince, and he did that Versace catalog way back in the 90s. And I got all my little coins together to get that catalog just to get the Richard Avedon pictures, which I tore out, and they are actually on my wall because I love them that much. But that inspired my idea of, how do I want to capture someone's portrait? It doesn't have to be the sort of, magical, busy background. It could just be this very simple black, white, gray background, and the person really becomes the topic of discussion. And so when I had a chance, I went to the Richard Avedon Foundation in New York City, looked at all of his work, and was like, oh my goodness.
You gotta look him up. Wow. Okay.
Oh, amazing. Well, that, and of course I'm inspired by Gordon Parks, and there are other people who speak to you, but yes, music does. And music videos, we still have a couple of them. Music videos too also are inspiration into like how you want to create a backdrop or a setting for a future photo session. But definitely landscapes. Like when I saw Valley of the Fire, I thought, this could be high fashion. It could be everyday. It's like the world itself inspires me a lot. So I do my film photography to keep my creative juices going and to slow down. Because those 12 frames that are not cheap, that's intentional. Those are intentional.
That's right.
Photos, people.
That's right. No, and I can appreciate that. I can really appreciate that. No, and something, I have to try to adopt that more. And I was actually just talking to someone about this last night. I went to the Homage Awards, and that was honoring that was honoring Uncle Ralph McDaniels, and from Video Music Box fame. And I was there for, I'm going to say 3 hours. I was there for about 3 hours and had a great night. You know, it was wonderful. I saw a lot of people that I didn't know. I met I saw a lot of people that I did know. I met some new people. But at the end of the night, I had 1,000 photos. What? I'm sitting here going like, so today, of course, I'm going, I gotta edit these and like give these back to them in like 48 hours. How am I gonna turn around 1,000 photos in 48? But I'm gonna have to somehow do it. But man, 1,000 photos, we're like, I have to try and be a little bit more, but I get so excited. It's like, I saw Ralph McDaniels on stage. I was like, oh!
That brings back memories. That brings back memories.
I love him. He's one of the nicest people.
Well, I don't know who didn't watch the show, but depending on where you are in the world at that time, that's how you got all the latest, greatest music, man. Like
every week, and mind you, Channel 31. Okay, it was there was no cable back then. You had to turn the TV to the weird channels in between, and then it was snowy. Sometimes you got to get the hanger and put it in and make sure.
Yeah.
But that's what we had, and we loved it. You know.
Oh man! All of a sudden, I feel a little dated, but those were great times. So I'm not going to even sleep on it. But Serena, just to close up that loop, she says no comment on hopping into a strange man's cars and even motorcycles. There's a story there. I'm not even. We gonna save that.
Serena's gonna have to drop it like it's hot in our accountability meeting. She's gonna have to drop that story like it's hot because I gotta hear that one. Motorcycle? She specified a motorcycle. Okay, Serena, we gotta hear that story. The motorcycle?
It's got something going on.
That sounds like an interesting story, Serena.
So tell us this, what advice do you have for people who are looking at their current full-time situation? If you read any articles, and there's plenty of articles out here right now, that there are a number of people who are working a full-time job, but they are investigating the entrepreneurship waters. What advice do you have for them to take that current passion that they have and make it into their new full-time career?
Very good question. I think one of the most important things that a lot of people do not think about is that there is a lot of structure that is required to be an entrepreneur. And I think that a lot of times people will consider starting their own business as being very freeing and kind of having this way of you being able to say what time you start work and what time you stop work and how much work you do. And there's definitely truth to that. But if you're going to be successful, you have to be consistent. Right? There's a whole thing that I'm going to do in my workshop in Utah that talks a little bit about rituals and about the importance of rituals. When you get up every morning, there's a reason why you do certain things in a certain way every day. We've learned these behaviors over time for a reason. So, for example, why do we celebrate birthday cake? Why do we celebrate birthdays with cake? I mean, we don't even know why, but we just know that when the cake comes out, we know it's someone's birthday. It's something that we do collectively, communally, to make sure that we commemorate someone's birthday. Well, why? I mean, it's celebratory. It's done to make sure that the person feels remembered. It's done to make sure that the person really feels appreciated. And when you slow down and you think about all of those steps, and you start applying it to your life, are you really that intentional? Can you really make sure that you're building a schedule in your life where you're putting the right time towards the right things? Are you good at marketing? Are you good at selling? Are you good at, managing business and at operations? I think that one of the benefits of me doing this the opposite way, not being an entrepreneur first and going into corporate after. One of the benefits of having worked in corporate is that I learned so much about systems. I learned so much about professionalism and about the way in which and the manner in which I should engage people. I learned about contracts as an HR executive. There are just so many different things that you learn. So when people say things to me like, contracts aren't important, I go, you kidding me? You're talking to an HR person. Like, you're talking to an HR lady. There's no way the contracts aren't important. Nah, sorry, you can't get over on me with that. Whereas my younger self may have said, like, sure, okay, like, not a problem. Where I do think that you have to make sure that you are prepared for that. But the journey is sometimes, of course, much better than the destination. So learning some of these things and learning how to market and learning social media, even engaging with a community like yours, and just making sure that you have a platform where you can talk about things and talk to people and have people help you be accountable. Those are all parts of being an entrepreneur. And so without having those things, it's probably very difficult, but that's first and foremost. And then after that, it's really having a drive and a love and a passion for what it is that you're doing. I was a very effective HR person. I still consult, every now and then. Someone gets me to write a policy or work on an employee handbook or to do something. I work very closely with one organization pretty regularly that, it does help, right? It helps to kind of balance in what I love to call underwrite what I do with my photography career. And I think that one thing that I do want people who are considering using, having a full-time job, it's not just to take the plunge and just decide, let me just stop doing whatever it is that I'm doing. It's making sure that you have all the pieces in place before you do make that plunge. So I felt like I was ready because I felt like I know enough people who can help me write a sales pitch. I'm going to, go and I actually paid someone to train me. I had a paid mentor, coach for 3 months to help me really kind of right the ship. Everything that I thought that I knew about the photography business for the last 20 some odd years, I was like, no, I want someone who's going to tell it to me straight about what it is that I need to do and look at my work and tell me honestly, all right, can I sell pictures? And of course, the answer was like, here's some stuff you got to work on.
I know, right?
Even with 20 years of experience, it was like, oh, wow, I got to work on stuff. Okay, but I was prepared. And, I think being very honest with yourself is extremely important when you're thinking about pursuing a passion.
Ooh, that self-awareness, ma'am. Serena says, yes, I know, right? Ralph McDaniels, man.
Very, very nice. Very nice gentleman.
Memories, she said, yeah, and get him right. I don't know if some of y'all in the audience understand some of what's going down right now. Because
Generation X understands. I think anybody that is younger than Generation X is like, you might not get the whole thing with the rabbit ears and the hanger, like, you don't even know what it's like to have to get. We were the remote. Do you remember when you were physically your parents' remote? They would tell you, get up and go turn the television. Sure. You were the remote.
Sure. And we'll call you in for anything from, hey, come in. I need a glass of water.
I need a glass of water.
Or can you change the channel? Because we didn't really, you had to change the channel. And don't lose the knob. Because at that point, you're looking for pliers.
What? It's plier cities. Plier city. You got to go get some pliers. Start cranking that bad boy.
The
struggle was real, okay? The struggle was real. And I tell you, living in the Bronx, growing up in the Bronx, there are things and attributes that I find that if you grow up in New York City, and there's nothing like growing up in other areas of the country, I'm sure, and I visited many areas of the country that are beautiful, and I love them and respect them all. But there is something about growing up in New York City. If you grow up in New York City, you are pretty much prepared for any kind of situation that could be thrown your way. Like, let me just share with you a really quick and funny story. I was actually on a train. Like, people talk about this now in our younger generation, because I want to make sure that I speak nicely to our younger generation and listeners who might be out there. But, there are a lot of things that are very sensitive to us, and we're so bothered by them. And, oh, now I need therapy because, X, Y, and Z happened to me on a job where I was actually sexually assaulted on a train. And I say this to you, like, and mind you, I'm not laughing about it. There's nothing funny about it. But I'm on the train, and a man actually, I'm going to just say, relieved himself on my business suit that I was wearing, because we were on a train and, you're close and riding. And I remember being like, why is he so close? And this happened to me. And mind you, the next day I got up, went to work, same way. Like, it's like, all right, well, got to get on the subway. I got to go to work. I wasn't home like, oh my God, I'm so traumatized. I can't work. Like, it was like, all right, this happened to subway. And so So I'm definitely, I think I have tough skin. I'm kind of prepared. It's one of the benefits, I think, of being an HR person too. Like, you have very tough skin. So it's kind of like, these things don't bother me. These crazy things that happen. And yes, it's like, even funny now, it's like a sexual assault. When I think about it, it's like, yes, it was a sexual assault. But like, back then it was like, this happened to me today on the train. I remember telling my girlfriend, like, oh my God, let me tell you what happened. Then I threw the pants out. And then I didn't, as a matter of fact, I remember I didn't walk home from the train. We had a dollar cab. That's how long ago this was. It was a dollar cab. And I didn't get in the dollar cab because I didn't want to sit down. And I walked home because I did not want to sit down like that.
Yeah.
And it just happened. And hey, I dealt with it and then we keep it moving. Like,
yeah. I have to agree with you. I came of age. Like I said, I graduated in 94, went to NYU right after that. Like, so here we are in 94 in New York City. And it is true. You can make it there. You can make it anywhere. That's real tough. It's going to teach you some stuff. It's going to teach you a lot of things really fast. You either get with it or you get eaten. You know, like it's one way or the other. So
really?
there were friends and family members who recognized the change in my behavior when I returned. When I returned home, they were like, "You okay? I'm fine. You."
So you got a little bit more bass in your voice when you talk to people.
No, right? You guys, son, I got it. So. Sean Anthony says, yes, as a entrepreneur, there are times where you do work all night and you do have to create that schedule and really make sure that you make time for yourself, your family, and work, because it can just sort of blend together. Gary also says, great advice and a message. And just to go back to Sean Anthony says, I am learning you can't do it all. And sometimes I just want it to be the other department's problem. Right? I love it.
How come marketing messed this up? We don't have any sales this month. What's wrong with marketing?
No,
marketing and sales drop the ball.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let us get this going. Okay, last one. What fun project are you working on? Because you mentioned your workshop in Utah.
Yes. I'll talk a little bit about that if you don't mind. So I think certainly it's very exciting for me to be able to use transferable skills from my HR life. And when I was an HR person, I worked in HR at this point now, this year is going to be 31 years. I am so dating myself, but I've been working in that profession for 31 years and I definitely know a lot of stuff, but I think that one of the things that I loved the most was training and being able to have people explain a concept and have people get it. You know, it's one of the things that I really, really love the most about HR and being able to solve a problem. A lot of people don't recognize that HR folks, one of the things that they do is something called organizational development. We'll look at a system or a way that a company is doing something and then think about, well, what's the correct way that this should be done? All right, well, what are the legal parameters around that? All right, now what's the system that we need to build in order to make that happen? So I'm a systems thinker. And so for me, approaching landscape photography is very much so like that. It's like, all right, do we have the right conditions of the day? Are we at the right angle? What compositions could we think of that might make this like the right kind of photo? What are you feeling like inside today? What do you want to express? Something moody, something happy, so, you know, and I think it all kind of comes together in this wonderful storm. And I'm excited to kind of get that out there and share that with the world and teach a little bit about Rumi. I think Rumi was really, really extremely beneficial to me over the last couple of years. I've done a lot of changing in my life, and Rumi helped to center me. Rumi, who is a Sufi poet, and Sufism deals a lot with mysticism and stuff, but what it really is about is teaching about how you are the center of the universe, and through you and from you comes everything. And so all the things that you might think, like, I need to be a better photographer. Being a better photographer already exists within you. It's just that you have to figure out what it is that you don't know in order to get there. And then it's just steps.
Look at you.
Get there, you know, but all of that is within you. The lessons to learn on how to do it, it's all within you already. It's just a matter of kind of figuring out where you are in life to kind of make that happen. So I want to put that Rumi approach, that Rumi spin onto the workshops. And I think that it should be great. May 7th to 11th. I hope that some people listening might be interested in coming out.
All right, May 7th to 11th, everybody. And that's a beautiful connection, truly, because with creatives, our art is very close to our hearts. And a lot of people don't share something, won't even attempt to get beyond what could be because they are just thinking, oh, I'm not better than so-and-so, and I'm not this, and I'm not. It's like, no. Everybody has their own voice, and you have to recognize and celebrate what your voice is. I mean, we've seen on photo walks, people take a exact same subject and they all look different. They all look different. That's a great thing. It's not a bad thing. So I love it. That's going to be your combination there. Very, very genius. That's a genius move. You're doing different things at your workshop. She said, we're going to get into some things.
One of the most important things is that if you're in a class, and I think from the perspective of teaching, right? And andragogy is the study of adult learning, and adults learn through chunks and adults learn through repetition. And I think that if you can combine, for example, the idea of doing a ritual, right? The idea that you wake up every morning and brush your teeth, the idea that you wake up and you put on your shoes or you take a shower, it's kind of like the same way that you might have a ritual for, okay, I'm going to take a photo. Let me check my shutter speed. Okay, let me check my ISO. Okay, let me check, it all kind of, if you have a ritual,
yes, the one time you don't. We used to say that repetition creates recognition. And then I used to add eventually. Okay. I done repeated that 1,000 times, and y'all still ain't picking it up. Jonathan, Black 8th Element says, Gwendolyn left Texas, but G came back home. That's real. Those are facts.
You better say it. You better say it, Black 8th Element.
I am now honorary, trust and believe. It's a whole nother something going on over here.
Listen, and New York is not a bad thing. Like Texas, listen, Texas got some stuff down there now. Like, listen.
I mean, now I'm from Houston, so like if you're trying to get on the highway, you take your time. You either get in where you fit in, or you get ran over. So that's what.
Listen, that's where Beyonce is from. I love the Beehive. Like, y'all don't play down there in Texas. I already know.
Oh my goodness. Amparo, thank you so much for giving us this time. And I do want to say this. I like, if I can just put one thing out there that really struck me beyond all of your great information, and a really solid message about, if you currently are working a full-time job, no matter where it is, take those lessons with you, right? And then when you transition, if it makes sense for you, get you a coach, right? Get you a mentor to make sure that they can fill in those holes so that you're not struggling just to be struggling, because that's so highly overrated. And personally, I also want to shout out the idea of printing, and as a photographer, providing tangible products to your customers. I love a good cell phone picture, but your cell phone, these devices, they're not going to stay forever. I mean, I have a whole box of photo CDs, right? That was the thing back then, that I made sure I have a digital copy.
Spindles of them.
Hey, I get it. People are like, do you have a CD for that? It's like, we're not doing CDs. And I love a USB too, but you got to back up your memories, like save that. And because I was telling a friend this the other day, I have photos all over. Here's my sister. I have photos. There you go.
I love that. No, as you should. And I'm seeing even behind you, I see that you have pictures behind you.
All the photos.
That's how it should be. Like, people should want to walk into your house and see how you're living. I mean, and not necessarily from an aesthetic point of view. If you like kind of clean walls, okay, but maybe a picture mat, maybe everyone has placemats, or you can have a plate if you want. I can pretty much make anything that you come up with. I can create. If you wanted curtains, I can probably make curtains out of a photo. But it starts with the idea that you want to get it out of the digital form and put it into something that is more physical. And here's the other thing too that I want to just leave people with. when people think about taking pictures, no one thinks at all about the fact that someone is going to pass away. Not one of us are going to get off of this earth alive. There's not a one of us, right? And so, do you think that when someone is looking for that picture of your family member to put on that obituary, you think they're going to be going through someone's phone? No. They're going to be going to the picture that's on the wall, or let me just take this photo that was on the desk, or let it be a nice one. Let it be one that a photographer took.
Yes. Just saying. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Hey, before we let you go, because we really are going to let you go, how can people contact you and follow you?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at amparo.the.photog. And you can also find me on IG at Landscapes by Amparo, landscapes.by.amparo. You can call me. I'll share my phone number, my business line, which is 917-382-0472. My website, photographybyAmparo.com. And did I leave anything out? I think that was everything, right?
I think that was everything.
And email. You can certainly email me, amparo.thephotog@gmail.com.
So thank you so much, man. If you get the story about Serena and that motorcycle, I want to know. I won't detail.
I'm coming back on. As a matter of fact, we need to have Serena on to talk about it, and then we can find out.
We got to get that. And I will definitely send you that Afrobeat list because, girl, it goes down. It's a good one. It's a good one. I will send it to you. Oh my God. Thank you everybody for tuning in this afternoon. And hopefully you guys can come on back this evening because I'll be chatting with my accountability partner, Gary Jackson. We're going to talk about Self-Love Day versus Valentine's Day.
I am here for it. Yes, I actually put it on my reminder. Yes.
we have some topics. We got some topics for this evening. Oh my goodness. I need you guys to be there. If you are available, or you can just watch the replay. Hey, Amparo, happy weekend to you. Everybody else, be safe. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend.
Thank you for watching another episode of Small Biz Bites with Gwendolyn R. 𝐭𝐮𝐥𝐬, where we chat with other creatives and small business owners about their journey. And we also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the 𝐒𝐭𝐫𝐮𝐥𝐬 YouTube channel, where you can get the latest and greatest.